Hello and welcome to the Box Office Buddies podcast. I'm Dan. I'm joined by Grug
Hello.
and Common.
Pleasure as always.
And let's get into this top 10. We've got a very big film at the number one spot. But at number 10 this week is Michael at 2.16 million, down 49%. It's a bit of a bigger drop this week than I expected. I expected it to stabilize again a little bit, but it lost a good amount of cinemas this weekend. It's at 367.89 domestic, 591.72 international, for a 959.61 million worldwide, all on a $155 million budget. I'm sure they're not unhappy with this.
No, I'm not unhappy with it at all. Even though I people have probably seen the episode by this point, but even though I thought the movie was mid, it's obvious people are enjoying it, and I'm glad they are. And again, this is approaching $1 billion. Although I feel like with a weekend like this, it's going to be cutting it very close. This is going to approach. I think it's only a matter of time before it passes Oppenheimer. But getting to that $1 billion, I think, it's slowing down.
It's got about 15 million before it passes Oppenheimer, so that's going to happen within probably next weekend. It'll happen.
Depends on how many screens it loses.
The main factor of it getting there is going to be international anyway. I think domestic at this point doesn't really matter. It's just had its second weekend in Japan. It was a very good hold from its first weekend, and it's doing well in Russia still. It should make another 7 million, 8 million there to pass 25 million in Russia alone.
It's entirely possible this becomes the new gatekeeper over Jurassic World Dominion,
which I wouldn't be mad at because this is a better movie.
Way better movie than don't even remind me.
Oh, Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah, so that's number 10. We've talked extensively about Michael. It won't be in the top 10 next weekend, most likely, but when it hits $1 billion, we will mention it because that is a very big box office story.
Alrighty, so number 9 is Leviticus. 2.61 million this weekend. It was in 1,076 cinemas. The per theater average was 2,426. This is what happens when you don't market your movie, even though it could have done really well if you marketed it.
What's so funny? What is so funny about that?
Oh, Neon. That's what's funny about it. They're terrible at marketing. What's the 3.5 million here?
That's the budget.
It'll make that back, I think. The gender split here is 57% women, 43% men. Damn, more men should have seen this. More, get more. 100%. Most common age range for the movie was 18 through 34, which made up about 79% of the audience. And of that audience, 44% were white, 29% were Latino/Hispanic, 15% were black, and 10% were Asian. Okay, I'm going to talk about this movie for a second because we're not doing it for the review part. Good movie, too short. It needed to be longer. Very odd. In the most non-spoilery way possible. It's my biggest problem with the movie is the beginning. And if I were to make a comparison, it's imagine Obsession, but it starts when they're leaving the bar. That's the problem. The beginning part of the movie, which I feel is kind of crucial for a lot of the movie, is goes way too fast. And you'll know what I mean when you watch it.
Next, at number 8, we have A24's The Death of Robin Hood. This grossed 2.87 million, and this is across 1,762 theaters, per theater average of $1,628. This is on a $20 million budget, and it has a cinema score of C+. Now, A24 is not exactly bearing the brunt of this because they bought the North American rights for $4 million, but at the same time, it's this is not going to be getting its money back. The gender split is 60% men and 40% women.
Which makes sense for a movie like this.
Who did this originally? Not A24, but... Okay, they did distribute it, but I wonder who they bought it from. Lyrical Media, it says. It's this is not going to be doing well at all. I never even heard of it until a week or so before it came out.
I only saw the poster at my theater. I've never seen a trailer for this movie.
I have actually seen a trailer, but it doesn't come out here until September 9th.
Wow.
I don't know why. Maybe they're trying
to dropping this shit, bro.
I will say this though. We're seeing A24 put out a lot more, increasing their output. They kind of have to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Not everything's gonna be a Backrooms.
Although, I mean, I'll be real though. Like, I don't even know when we're gonna see another Backrooms from May 24, unless it's Backrooms 2.
Well, apparently, like I've misjudged Elden Ring a little bit, but
Elden Ring will probably be the next one, but I mean, I could see Backrooms 2 coming out before Elden Ring. Maybe not, actually.
Isn't Elden Ring 2028? Yeah.
Yeah, wait, never mind. For some, I keep thinking in my mind it's 2025.
Never mind, that's all good. I will say, because it's kind of in this a similar like topic to this, I think the theatre counts this weekend are very strange. This is in the most. Leviticus is in the second most, and Girls Like Girls is in 504, and it got a nearly 3,000 per theatre average. It did 1.51 million. That also probably should have been in more cinemas.
I saw more trailers for that than I saw for Leviticus or Death of Robin Hood.
I don't know who it's distributed by, but obviously not a major if they can't get it in more than 1,000 cinemas.
Girls Like Girls is Focus.
Really? Why the fuck did they not get it in over 1,000 cinemas?
You'd think they would, but at the same time, I almost wonder if Obsession is like digging into that. And it's like, okay, we're going to keep this in more theaters for as long as possible. And if that means sacrificing Girls Like Girls.
At number 7, we have The Mandalorian and Grogu, aka The Grungleman and Binkus. It made 4.17 million this weekend, down 13%. It's really late, but that's a good hold. It has 172.04 million domestic, 156.66 international, for a grand total of 328.69 million worldwide on a $165 million budget. It's getting closer to. I think it's actually less than 2 million away from doubling its budget.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, this is Star Wars.
It should have gotten that opening weekend, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, back in 2018, people clowned on Solo for doing as, mediocre as it did. For Mandalorian and Grogu, when considering that this was like the flagship property of Star Wars for a good chunk of time, this is nothing short of embarrassing for Disney.
Especially because when we get to number 3, there's going to be a film that's over it.
Yeah, I was literally like thinking about that. How like flat-footed do you think Disney like feels right now? Like they just were completely caught off guard by this movie, which cost a fraction of a percent to make.
And you know what? We'll see how Starfighter does, but don't see it exactly saving Star Wars. Especially if it's probably gonna have a bigger budget than Mando. I would assume.
I am standing by my opinion that that Starfighter will lose more money than Mandalorian.
Well, yeah, because this isn't gonna technically lose that much money.
I feel like merchandise sales are going to make up for some of this one at least.
All right, number 6 is a Jared Leto bomb, number 28, aka Masters of the Universe. It made 6.18 million this weekend. It's down 31% from last weekend. I imagine that's all Father's Day numbers. Domestically, so far, has made 57.49 million. Internationally, it's made 45 million. And worldwide, it's made 102.49 million. And it has a $170 million budget. It is losing money.
Yeah, I mean, is anybody shocked? This is the kind of movie that would have been made or should have been made like 20 or 30 years ago.
I think they were trying to make it 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, this particular version I read had been in development hell since like 2011 or something. But my point being, even if it was released 20 years ago, it probably still would have bought these. We talked about the demographic split of and how the majority of the people who saw it are men in their 40s, aka people who grew up watching the original show and buying those toys. So my question is, who asked for this? And I was talking with a friend recently who said, oh, the reason why Amazon picked this up is because Jeff Bezos was a fan of Masters of the Universe. Now, I don't know how true this is, but like it almost checks out. Like he's like what? He's like a 40, 50 something, right? Like that would check out, but again, you could throw all the money you want at this. It doesn't change the fact that this property has not exactly been relevant outside of like She-Ra. And even then, She-Ra's fandom isn't exactly the biggest on Earth. I mean, they're small but mighty. I'll give them that. Also, or no. Its cultural relevance is that meme from 20 years ago, which happens to be in the film, which I guess kind of an obligation had to be, but you get my point.
I know that there was a Forbes article saying that the headline was saying that Amazon was going to do a sequel, but that wasn't what was in the body of the article. That was clickbait that they made up.
They absolutely should not make a sequel, bro.
No one's if they do make a sequel, I honestly see it as being like a Prime exclusive, because I feel like, that one is gonna do even worse unless they make the budget like tiny. But you look at the number of this one, 170 million. Like, there's no way they can make this for pennies.
I think it would be cheaper if they made it animated at that point.
Yeah. Or heck, you want to talk about, it's like, oh, we should just wait for the streaming numbers. We've had so many cases throughout the years where a movie bombs or doesn't do that well. It comes to streaming and it still doesn't do that well. How about like Lightyear or Elio, just to use examples? Both of those completely flopped when they came to streaming, just like they flopped in theaters.
It's a little unfortunate because it is a good movie. It's just nobody really cares other than
Nobody gaff.
I haven't seen it, but this is one of those things that I'll watch on Prime, like towards the end of the year, just to like fill out the gaps. I know next to nothing about this franchise. So barely making it into the top 5, and it was very close. Scary Movie with 6.39 million. That is a 55% drop. This makes a domestic total of 97.25 million, and international number of 104.4 million, for a worldwide total of 201.65 million on a $30 million budget. And with numbers like this, we're definitely getting a Scary Movie 7. This is this is chugging along fairly nicely, I'd say. Like, this is about what I've been expecting it to do. And I reiterate what I said when I reviewed Scary Movie a few weeks ago. Whether or not you like the movie or not, it is good that we're getting comedies in theaters again.
Yeah. This is also 12.19 million away from surpassing Scream 7, which it's probably going to do.
That is insane, dude.
The next one's going to make a lot less, but I think it's probably still going to be enough for them to consider making another one.
Even if it makes half of what this makes, and if it was the same budget, it would still make a small profit. Like, people forget how cheaply a lot of these parody movies were made for back in the 2000s.
Because they don't need to look good.
No, they don't. I mean, they also don't need to be well written either.
At number 4, we got The Backrooms at 7.17 million, down 38%, and actually pretty good drop this weekend. It's at 175.05 million domestic, passing The Mandalorian and Grogu. 125.88 million international for a 300.93 million worldwide haul on a $10 million budget. So it's now at 30 times its budget. And this isn't even the most insane return on the budget that we've got in the top 5. Kane Parsons' Backrooms, the youngest person ever, is still number 4 at the box office.
He is 20 years old.
21.
But he is 21 years old.
But yeah, this is likely going to pass Mandalorian and Grogu worldwide as well.
Imagine going back in time and telling someone that a low budget, like not a low budget, but like an indie horror film based on a 4chan text would gross more than a Star Wars film
Based on an image.
And again, I don't say that like in a derogatory way. I say this as in like there's really like a positive movement going on in the film world with these new creators.
Unfortunately, we've curled the monkey's paw because now Vivzy Pop's getting a movie. All right, number 3, of course, we have Obsession. This weekend, it made 13.4 mil. That's down 30% from last weekend. Is that its biggest drop? I don't know.
Yes, it is very much the biggest drop.
All right, it has made 215.03 million domestically so far. It has also made 117.03 million internationally. In total, it has 332.06 million worldwide. Aside from international, domestically and worldwide, it's surpassed Mando.
Yes.
All on a $750,000 budget, though it was acquired for $15 million, but I don't think Focus cares.
It is very much ahead of Mando domestic and just like $4 million ahead worldwide, but obviously that gap's gonna keep expanding and expanding. For a little context in terms of the opening weekend, so this opened to 17.2 million domestically. Currently, it's sitting at 215.03 million domestically. That is a multiplier of 12.5x from its opening weekend.
Word of mouth does you wonders.
It does, and this is like, I'm pretty sure, definitely one of the leggiest movies of the 21st century, but also one of the leggiest movies of all time, because I mean, it's in the top 100. I'm pretty sure. It's an insane run, and it's not even over. It's had a 30% drop this week. Its second biggest drop was 25%. Third biggest drop was 7%. And its fourth biggest drop was up 14%. This is its first weekend below its opening weekend in its sixth weekend. It's still historic. It's still probably one of the most incredible runs we're gonna see of the 2020s, probably even the next decade as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we can say about it right now because it's just gonna keep getting crazier every week. Still number 3 and on its sixth weekend. It's just, what's going on here? What are we doing? Who gave Cory Barker the right?
At number 2, we have Disclosure Day, dropping 60% to with 17.7 million for a domestic cumulative of 78.99 million, so just under 79 million. International total of 81.87, and that makes for a worldwide total of 160.86 million on a $150 million budget. It dropped a little worse than I thought it was going to, I will be honest. But I do think, all things considered, like, this is a pretty decent second weekend.
I hope it stabilizes a little bit in its next week. It's very good. It's one of my favorites of the year, but I was kind of expecting this, I guess, given the word of mouth. It's just I wanted to hope that Father's Day would help it a little bit more, not drop as harshly. Not that 60% is an awful drop. It's about usual for like the box office, like 50 to 60% in its second weekend. I think that's the usual range we'd expect for a movie. I think over 60% you start getting worried about a performance. But yeah, it's a fine weekend. It's hopefully gonna get to 2x its budget, then 2.5 might be a bit of a push for this. But it's doing just as well internationally, which is pretty good. Pretty good is better than Masters of the Universe, at least.
That's not a high bar.
The bars in hell.
Rounding out the top 10 this weekend, we have Toy Story 5. And this is the big one. 159.68 million domestic opening weekend, 150.51 million international opening weekend, for a worldwide opening of 310.19 million. It's got a $275 million budget, so they really went ham on the budget with this one. I think this is one of the biggest budgets for an animated movie ever, really. I think Tangled was 260. I think that's the previous record was 260. Either way, it is the second best animated opening behind The Incredibles 2. It is the third best June opening behind Incredibles 2 and Jurassic World. The demos for this one were 36% white, 30% Latino, Hispanic, 13% Asian. They didn't give a black percentage, but I'm sure they went as well, unless they were just none that went. Women, 57% to male, 43%, and obviously the song from the movie, the main credit song, "I Knew It, I Knew You," was Billboard #1 this week, which doesn't normally happen in a movie's opening weekend, but
Taylor Swift.
Well, the way music has been distributed has changed too much, like, to really, like, discount that.
yeah, but I think the song also came out a week in advance, which probably helps as well.
I mean, even back then, a lot of movies released their soundtracks way before the film.
Either way, this is an incredible debut, and I think Mario Galaxy opened to like-for-like markets 302. Obviously, it did 377, 372.5 actually, when it comes to like actual what was reported 5-day grosses for like-for-like markets, because it had Wednesday, Thursday domestic. It had a couple of other markets that don't normally opening early. That was 302 according to Deadline. This is 310. So yeah, and it's probably coming for the $1 billion mark, I would assume. Is segue into the review section. But Greg, do you want to go through your movie first?
But first, before I talk about Toy Story 5, I do want to talk about what I think of the other Toy Story movies too, just really quickly. Toy Story 1, probably the funniest Pixar movie, just like of them all, and it's like really, really fucking good. Obviously, I mean, it's like just a classic. It's like a small minority. I feel like I always see people being like, "Oh, they should like the animation doesn't look great," which I mean, it really doesn't. But I think it honestly helps the movie like in being just funnier.
For me, I think the first Toy Story is the most important movie of the last 40 years. I will disagree on it being the funniest. I think that's Monsters, Inc., personally.
Oh yeah, Monsters Inc.'s like close second for me. Toy Story 2, both Toy Story 2 and 3 are definitely like my favorites. They're both like really good. I especially just for what I can give like the first movie and just like its edge, because that's what I think is so funny about the first movie. It's just like how like Woody is just like a villain for 2/3 of it. Tom Hanks just gives like a generational performance, and then like 2 and 3, I just love like all of 2. I love I love Al. Just like like the most simple Toy Story villain, because like every other villain, there's like probably some like at least some like layer to them you can find. He's just he wants money. He stole a toy from a child, bro. I mean, Toy Story 3, a lot so. Nothing else to say about like a Watso. It's just how they even get away with that.
Toy Story 3 is my favorite animated movie of all time, and I will not apologize for saying that.
And now I will say I do like Toy Story 4. I don't like it as much as the others, but I like Toy Story 4. I think it falters in a few areas. A problem that will also be brought up with 5 is it doesn't really use the side characters enough. If it's not Woody and Buzz, they like the rest of the cast does like nothing. I don't really like agree with the whole like, oh, Toy Story 3 should have been the ending thing. I mean, I think it would have been a really good ending if you left it there. Toy Story 4, I think is like a decent ending, but if we're putting in that ending context, I don't think it's great, which is like, well, I do think it's like pretty good.
I've heard the argument that Toy Story 3 is the perfect ending for Andy's toy box, whereas Toy Story 4 is a great ending for Woody.
Yeah, and now I feel like segueing to Toy Story 5, what they're trying to do is set up more with like Bonnie. What I like most about Toy Story 5, they don't do the ending thing at the end of the movie. They're just like, yeah, we can do another one. Essentially, Toy Story 5, I really liked it. I liked it better than 4. I think it's really high up there, honestly, on like my Pixar ranking and just my like general year ranking. I really just I love like the whole movie. The side plot, obviously, I'm not going into any spoilers, but the side plot with all the buzzes is like I feel like some of the like hardest I've laughed like just this year. How all of them like they're all just like kind of like like dumb at first. Like I love I'll just say like the part of the beginning when they're like, oh, they don't like say anything, and then one of them just sees like a star. He's like, star command, star command, star command. I love just like how they're like throughout the whole movie. I honestly like there was just like a point in the movie where I thought like, is this even going to amount to anything? I was just doing this for no reason. Which that would have been really funny. It just happens. All that happens for like no reason. But no, I mean, obviously it happens for a reason. I also think something this film does really well is like being a spiritual sequel to Toy Story 2, since in this one, Jesse is just like the main character. Woody's there, Buzz is there, but like it's very centered around Jesse. And I think it adds on, it tells a lot with Jesse, and it adds on so much to like toys to the like a lot of the emotional beats in Toy Story 2, which I think is like just great, because that movie's emotional beats are already like some of the best in the series, some of the best just in like Pixar in general. So I think just adding that is really good. Let's see what else. Good villain, pretty good villain. It's no Titus from Hoppers, but I wasn't really expecting that. Also, I mean, I don't really think a villain like Titus could work, because I mean, Lotso's like that evil, but like he's also got like at least like some layers to him where he has like the backstory at least. Whereas like Titus and Hoppers is just like Satan, a genocidal like a bug version of like Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Yeah, but I like what they do with the villain. I also like how the movie doesn't go like simply with a tech bad message. They like have a more, obviously it's like Toy Story is usually more like nuanced with its messages, and it's nuanced here. So I really like that. So a problem I had in 4, which I think they do fix in this one, is Buzz was kind of just stupid in 4 to a degree where it's just like kind of just off. But like in this, he's like, I think he's like the right amount where he usually is, where he's like, because I wouldn't really say Buzz is like dumb. He's a little dumb, but like dumb with like a heart of gold. Oh yeah, there's one scene I think later on in the movie that I think adds really well to the to a big part of Buzz's character and or like Buzz's arc in Toy Story 1. They don't really acknowledge it, but I think it's just like a cool thing.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I thought that was cool. Look, I will say this: I am also like, I think Toy Story is a contender for best film franchise in existence that has like more than 3 movies. Now, I love, like I said, Toy Story 3, my favorite animated movie of all time. I think I had to rank these; it would go 3, 2, 1, 4, 5. 5 for me. I was positive, but less positive than others. My number one issue with this movie is its pacing. The way the movie keeps cutting back and forth between the main plot and all the buzzes felt disjointed, especially when I felt like the buzzes just don't really need to be here. I'm not like, I feel like they could have, if the buzzes weren't here, the climax would have been done differently. But that isn't to say I didn't enjoy their presence, because they were funny. Every scene they were in, I laughed. Like I liked them. But at the same time, like, how important was this to the story? Also, like, I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna be as spoiler free as possible. Woody did not need to be in this. I really do think that the writers, in a sense, when they made Toy Story 4, going with the route they did, they wrote themselves into a corner, because they knew, like, okay, if you're gonna have Toy Story, people are gonna want Buzz and Woody. I do like how Woody, or neither Woody nor Buzz were the main character. The main character of the movie is Jesse, which I think is very bold, and it kind of builds off of what they set up at the end of 4. I'm also gonna say that, like, again, gonna be spoiler free as possible, that the main villain's arc is very similar to another antagonist we've had in a recent Pixar movie. I am not gonna. I've talked about this with a friend, that there's a movie that came out, like, again, within the past 3 years, that has a very similar arc, in my opinion, at least. And I just feel like there were scenes missing, in a sense, and this contributes to my pacing problem. But all that being said, I do love the fact that we're getting a movie like this, because kids needed to be taught this, that, like, yeah, tech has its benefits, but we are in an era where they are consuming kids' lives. Like, look, I don't know if I'll ever be a father, but if I do have kids, they are not going to be getting like phones straight out of the womb. No, no, no. A movie like this is extremely important. Again, kids need to realize that there's way more to life than tech in this day and age. That includes toys.
I will say as well, I really like the additions of Conan O'Brien, Craig Robinson,
Oh yeah, they were funny.
especially Conan O'Brien, I think.
Oh, he stole the show. He stole the show.
But yeah, I don't have much else to say. I gave it a 9.
I give it a 7.
I gave it a 9 as well.
But here's the thing, though. The fact that this is a 7 out of 10, and I think it's the weakest of the Toy Story films, but it's still a 7 out of 10. What does that say about this franchise?
That they still got.
Like, I mean, well, then again, I guess you could also count Lightyear in this, but we don't talk about that.
No, God no. That's the worst Pixar movie.
Nothing's worse than Cars 2, but
Whoa, no. Cars 2 is great.
not this past weekend, but the one before. I noticed YouTube Free Movies added something that's been on my watch list for a while, and I kind of got pushed by a friend of mine. 2022's The Whale. It has more than one frame. Now that joke is out of the way. I remember when Brendan Fraser won Best Actor for this, and I'm gonna be real, like, I was disappointed, because I think Austin Butler deserved it personally. I think he absolutely worked for that role. Why should I expect the Academy to make the right decisions? But this is not to discount Brendan Fraser in this, because Brendan Fraser was awesome in this movie. Like, he really does, really disappear into this role of a dying recluse, somebody whose life clearly has fallen apart by his own volition. I think my biggest takeaway from The Whale, to me at least, is you need to really appreciate the people around you when you feel like your time is coming, because you never know when, like, one wrong decision is going to completely take you off the rails, or you're going to do a bunch of things that you regret, or heck, even decisions you think are right, but the people around you might not. Something I'm going to say here, I remember looking at the budget of this movie, while I was watching it, and I was just like, okay, how did Obsession cost 1/4 of this? But then I remembered, like, okay, Brendan Fraser probably wanted like a big check. All that makeup and costume design for him exclusively probably was not cheap. Now, the movie being in one location, it does, I don't want to say it necessarily makes the cinematography boring, but considering how drab the environment is, it does add to like this movie being a tough watch at times. And that's really the way I would sum this up. It's a good movie that's a very tough watch because again, you're watching somebody's life completely fall apart. They are approaching, death's door essentially. But at the same time, it's a very fascinating character study. I like how this kind of goes around the themes of connecting with people who you've been estranged from. Religion is a big topic in this movie. We also, of course, have the allegory constantly going back to Moby Dick. There is a lot to the movie's themes. Again, the things that hold it back for me, really just the lack of a lot of stuff going on a good chunk of the time. But I mean, now that isn't to say what is going on is bad because it's fascinating stuff. Brendan Fraser is obviously puts on a home run performance. Like this is hands down the best performance of his career. There's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about the ending and what happens there. I don't want to discuss spoilers, obviously, but I feel like most people know how this movie ends. Watching it on a whim, I almost feel as if like the movie did just enough, even with like just doing it in mostly one location. Like there is one other location technically, but it's not really like a focus. It's used for visual imagery. When this came out, this had very divisive reviews. Like the direct comparison I could give is Joker, where critics were like absolutely polarized and split, and there was a lot of discussion amongst general audiences. Heck, like The Whale has a 60 on Metacritic, which isn't too far off of Joker's. I forgot what Joker's is, but it's somewhere around there. They also have a similar Rotten Tomatoes score, and even on Letterboxd, there's such a wide range of reactions to this. And I feel like what you feel about this movie is going to be highly dependent on what you think of Brendan Fraser's performance. Which, again, I'm glad he got his Oscar. I don't know if he was necessarily the best of the bunch, but I am glad that he got something. This is really like a moment that he needed because he's now back to doing a lot more things. I don't know if this is necessarily a movie I'd watch a second time because, as I said, it is a hard watch with how depressing it is because it is inherently a sad movie. Some have argued that it really, like, it might try too hard to tug on your heartstrings. I've also heard the criticism that it is not a very good representation of people who are morbidly obese. And I do understand where they're coming from. I'm going to be real. But at the same time, like, this is just a movie where I was very fascinated by the performances. I liked the way that the different plots interconnected and how they all, interconnect just through this one room. It's a very interesting way of using one set, as I've talked about, and that has its downsides. I guess maybe the last thing I'll say about The Whale is this is a movie that I think, I don't want to say everybody should watch, but it is a movie that two people will watch it and they will not have the same reaction. So this is not like this is going to be a talked about movie for years to come. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
We'll move on to my movie this week, which was, and this is good because it's Pride Month, so it was The Birdcage from 1996. They were doing a 30th anniversary screening of this film, and I kind of, on a whim, decided to go and watch it after I'd seen Toy Story 5. This film has Robin Williams and Gene Hackman in it, so I first want to say rest in peace to those incredible talent. They're very good in the movie as well. So this is about a gay cabaret owner and a drag queen partner who agree to falsify their heterosexuality so that their son can introduce them to a Republican senator, parent of the girl he's seeing. I want to say that first of all, this son is a villain. He should be ashamed of himself. It is very funny and very charming. It made me laugh like 10 times more than Scary Movie, which, it probably isn't that high of a bar, but it's 10 times more, so, it was a lot more than Scary. Highlights in the film are Robin Williams as Armand, Nathan Lee as Albert. I really liked Hank Azaria as Agador, and Christine Baranski. I really enjoyed seeing her as Catherine, who was the son's mother. Yeah, there is some like crazy humor in here, like politically. And I know that they had like that type of humor back then. Like, I'm not saying that it didn't exist back then, but I think it kind of aged like fine wine. Some of the humor about like there's a joke about killing abortion doctors because if you kill the abortion doctors, then there'll be no more abortions. and then there is a bit more to that joke, but I won't go into the further part. You should definitely, if you have been thinking about watching this movie, you should watch it like right now.
I own it on VHS.
It's like an incredible Pride Month one. It is, I would say, a bit of a spoiler is how I feel about the movie. It's essential queer cinema. Some of my favorite lines are like Agador says something like "chewing gum helps me think," and then Albert's like, "Oh well, honey, you're wasting your gum." I thought that was really funny, and it's there is a lot of great queer humor in this. At one point, Albert's like, "Oh, I'm this." They're having an argument, and like Albert says, "Oh, you made me this way. I'm short, fat, insecure, middle aged." And then Robin Williams' character's like, "I made you short." I just it is incredible when they're trying to act straight. It's very funny. The way that Robin Williams is trying to teach Nathan Lane's character how to a drag queen, how to act straight, how to like put on a performance for these people that are coming in. And I wondered why. I was like, oh, this is a really great film. How have I like never watched it? And like
I am shocked that you of all people hadn't seen it yet.
I was like, oh, what has this director done that I've seen? He made The Graduate, Mike Nichols, and I really enjoyed The Graduate.
That I did not know. I've seen The Graduate. Great movie.
Another highlight for me was Christine Baranski's Catherine. She opens a champagne bottle with her thighs, which I thought that's camp, that's queer. But yeah, very funny, very charming. There's a lot of crazy like political humor in there nearer the end, which is when the actual parents get there. It's aged like fine wine. Essential queer cinema. It's Robin Williams is kind of a daddy as well. I'm not gonna lie.
I sincerely miss him.
But yeah, I wanted to mention as well that the chauffeur. Maybe I'm going crazy. Kirby Mitchell is the actor. I think he kind of looks like Cory Barker. That can't be Cory Barker because this is like 1996, but that just looks like him a lot. Be prepared if you do watch it. You're gonna hate the Sun character, and it's very much warranted. I gave this a 10 because I've slept on this somehow, and I'm really glad I got to see this one in the cinema and two during Pride Month. Yeah, very very good. I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's my movie. Is it? Both of you haven't watched this, have you?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
I own it. I should watch it.
But yeah, okay. We should move on to the predictions now. Common, what are your top 5 predictions for this next weekend?
Well, I think so Toy Story 5 is going to be number 1 again. I'm tentatively putting it at a lucky 77.7 million. But I think there's a possibility this is going to hold way better. So I honestly might upgrade it to 80 million or something, depending on my mood when I put in my predictions, when I lock them in officially. At number 2, we've got Supergirl at 45 million. I'm going to put this, like, I have it lower than you guys do. I mean, spoilers for a few minutes. But I think, like, this is either gonna, I have a strong feeling this is not going to, like, break out the way they think it is, especially since, like, Superman did very well, but not nearly as well as I thought it was going to. So I'm gonna be a little cautious on Supergirl for now, but I think like it'll have a $45 million opening, but how it fares over 4th of July weekend afterwards, that is gonna be the real make or break because July is busy. It's gonna have minions and monsters to deal with. So that's gonna be the real test. If it can hold well over 4th of July weekend, that maybe has a chance, but I am a little pessimistic about that. But for now, we'll go with 45 million. For number 3, we've got Jackass Best and Last. I've got it at 14.4 million for now. I think this will get the fans out. I'm seeing it. I'm going to see it Thursday night. I can't wait. Again, kind of like with Jackass Forever back in 2022, this is really going to just attract the fans and not much. But I am glad this is coming to theaters just like the last one because this demands an audience. And I think people will show up for it. At number 4, we'll have Obsession at 9.99 million. So this past weekend with Obsession is what convinced me, okay, like it's not going to be like getting these insane holds anymore, but I still think it'll have just shy of 10 million to keep hanging on. And then we've got Disclosure Day. I'm going to keep it at 8.4 million for now because it dropped a little worse than I thought last weekend. So I'll go with this for the time being. However, I'll see like where it goes from here because I think it has the potential to go even lower than that. But I do think it will at least make the top 5.
That's fair enough. Grog, what's your top 5?
All right. I'm betting big here. Y'all ain't ready. All right. For Toy Story 5, I put it at 500 billion. Now this would be a pretty big increase, you know. If we were to get like the exact percentage down, it'd be like a lot. A lot. Yeah, all right. Now, Common, you were saying that like your your Supergirl guess is actually lower than mine. Actually, it's way higher because I have Supergirl at $2.
How could you?
This is what James Gunn gets. Restore the Snyderverse.
I should raise my prediction just out of spite.
Number 3, Jackass, $1.
Hey, that's me. I'm $1.
All right. Number 4, we have Obsession, 50 cents. Someone paid for half a ticket.
And the one that it was bought by 50 Cent the rapper, clearly.
Only he has seen the movie this weekend. Number 5, the big double D Disclosure Day, 25 cents. Somebody accidentally found like 1/4 of a ticket next to like a quarter. Okay, let's go. Here's my actual predictions. All right, so Toy Story 5, I put like 74.45 mil. It's probably gonna make more than that. Number 2, I put Supergirl, 48.2 mil. Let's hope it makes that much. I don't think James Gunn really thought out putting a Supergirl movie as the second movie, like, well, like especially if you're like restarting a DC universe, it's just like odd. You know, number 3, Jackass, 13.67 mil, 67, 67.
You can't see me. I'm face palming.
I know. I've done a 6-7 guess for a scary movie every weekend, no matter what. All right, number 4, I have Obsession, 10.36 mil. Yep, I still think it's going to get 10 mil. It'd be really great if it increased again. That'd be really funny. That'd be beautiful. All right, and then number 5, Big Double D, 8.67 million.
Lovely. So my predictions for the top 5 this weekend are Toy Story 5 at 71.72, down 55%, Supergirl at 46, Jackass Best and Last at 14.7, Obsession at 10.05, down 25%, and Disclosure Day at 8.5, inverse drop at 52%. So yeah, that was what happened this weekend, and then our predictions, our movies of the week. I've been Dan. I've been joined by Common
Great as always.
and Grug.
Bye. Happy Pride Month. I hope all my all my gays enjoy Deltarune Chapter 5.
All your gays, bro.
I will be right there with you.
Thank you guys for listening. Goodbye.